Gaming has evolved into a sophisticated platform for storytelling and a basis of interaction between user and system and user and user. Kelvin Lamb, APL's digital literacy assistant, dropped by this morning to talk about gaming culture and some of the initiatives he's spearheading at the library. So welcome, Kelvin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So since you came to the library from a very different path than most staff, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how that fits in with today's modern library?
Right. So, I have a game development background. I went to school for game development. Came out of school, worked on a couple of indie games and mobile games, and did some freelancing. And then I got a job at the library, which is very interesting. What I discovered about myself is not only do I want to create things or like to create things, but I also like to teach people on creating things as well. And
So as you know, the Speakeasy features arts and culture in Aurora. And when I came to you and I said, Kelvin, would you describe gaming as culture? You said, of course, without a moment of hesitation. So you can talk a little bit for us, if you would, about gaming as culture.
Right. So gaming is really, really big right now. When I was a kid, it wasn't as big, but as time went on, the gaming culture just grew and grew. Now everyone knows, for example, what Fortnite is. You know, you just mention the name Fortnite, and all the kids will be like, Fortnite, Fortnite. It's blended into other cultures as well, right? Like art culture, movie culture. You see people mentioning just games. Sorry.
Well, and so one of the things, I had the pleasure the other day of dropping by Kelvin's office because I'm a bit of a newbie here. And so Kelvin invited me over to try virtual reality because APL has a number of virtual reality, do you call them headsets? What do you call them?
Yeah, so
Yes.
we have a couple of Oculus Go headsets that we recently acquired.
So that was a real thrill for me to put this. I tried not to be too embarrassing as I sat in Kelvin's office and exclaimed as I put this new world on my head as I jumped in. And right away, having had this virtual reality experience and being very ably, I can see your prowess as a teacher because you very carefully walked me through this experience for the first time and sort of gave me a really exciting first insight, but also the taste to try more of it. And one of the things you and I talked about when it came to gaming and this opportunities were the intergenerational opportunities that happen when you introduce gaming culture in a public library setting, because the obvious first audience are children and teens who are the digital literates who understand this anyway. But for somebody like me, taking this on at this age, there's an excitement and opportunity, I think, that's presented through APL.
Well, yeah, that's correct. So what I want to do at APL is to bring technology or show people who might have otherwise not be able to access this technology, just to show them and let them play with it, let them experience what tech is coming to the world.
So what are some of the new initiatives that you're going to be introducing?
Right. So we have a couple of programs planned through next year. So one is obviously the VR headsets. We're going to be showing off the virtual world to patrons. But we're also really excited about augmented reality, which is the next big thing.
This is the thing that's going to blow your mind, by the way. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have programs planned for that as well, for kids and teens, just to show them again. AR could be, something super exciting to explore. And we also have video game meetups every month. So what I think is, the library is a meeting place. It's a place where people gather together. They're reading books. They're watching movies. But video games is such a big thing. So why not bring that video game culture into the library as well and let people just join, talk about it, and play?
It's also, in terms of economic development, it's also a really, really big career right now. And what I find very, very interesting are the number of young women who are going into game design, which, you would think perhaps not, but it's actually it's a growth industry. And I think it's really cool that people can come in to APL and get a sense of it, and perhaps this might spark new creativity, new design, new futures, especially for young people moving through their work world. Now, at the library, we're now building a creative space, so makerspace, a creative space, and part of your job as digital literacy assistant is to offer new technology experiences to our library visitors. So what are some of the things that we're going to be introducing in what's now a sort of a tent area that nobody can look into? And before the unveiling, give us a little sense of what we think we're going to find in there.
Right. So let's just say we are going to get a lot of equipment, and I want to keep it under wraps for the surprise launch that we're going to have. But what I can say is right now we have a Cricut machine. It's a cutting machine for vinyl. It can cut vinyl stickers and cut cardstock and poster board, for crafts. And we also have 3D printers. We currently already have 3D printers, but we're thinking of getting a couple more. And, of course, the VR headsets.
And I just love this because of the incredible access to information that we have at APL and indeed at most public libraries. But the thought is, as someone who lives in Aurora, that I can come and access this technology that really I might know nothing about it, but the opportunity with my library card to be able to go and access this is very exciting for me, because it's also an entry point to conversation with people of younger generations or whatever, so that you can speak somewhat knowledgeably about this. As it's this wonderful democratizing feature of bringing technology to APL. So.
Right. It's just that when I was a kid, I wish that there was things like this where I can just drop in and make something, right? Because and when I was a kid, I had I want to create. I had an imagination, right? I want to create something, but there's nowhere to create these things, and there's nowhere to learn how to do these things. But now we have access to all this technology, and the best part of it is you can just drop in. Anyone can access this. It's through the library.
I think it's also a certain amount of community building, because I know that you will be putting together a website aspect of the creative space where people will be able to share the designs that they're doing. So I think that's also a way of not only teaching, technology, but also sharing and building upon knowledge of the community. And I think that's a really cool thing that you're doing.
Right. Yeah. So if you want to find more information about this, I actually started Instagram. It's APL Creative Space. So if you want to follow that, and that's where we're going to be posting other people's creations as well.
Well, thank you very much for dropping by, and I guess all of the programs will be on our website.
Yes, that's correct.
AuroraPL.ca. Check it on out, and thank you for coming in and telling us about this.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Kelvin.